Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. Getting it to stop can be a project. Okay, so there we go. Let's put this away. Random reviews from the Overflow room. I'm excited. That was the great gong of Shostakovich. That's where we are in our reverse alphabetical traversal through all of these shelves that are slowly filling up. They're going to have to fill up more quickly because I'm going to have to really start to move out of the old barn at some point, but we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. And Shostakovich is going to be probably a dozen videos, maybe more, because there's a lot of Shostakovich. Yes, he wrote lots of music. I like lots of music. I collected lots of music. Here's our first pile. We're starting modestly. I mean, we could do huge gouts of things, but I like to make these a little more digestible. So shall we get to it? Oh, look at this. Isn't this interesting? Shostakovich Violin Concertos 1 and 2, Romance from the Gadfly, conducted by Maxim Shostakovich, the composer's son, with the BBC Symphony Orchestra, and the violinist is Daniel Hope, who's really a marvelous violinist. He's sort of bounced around in the record world doing all kinds of interesting and unusual projects, or some of them worthy, some of them less so, but he's an amazing player. And we have, let's see, what have we got here? That's what we got, and it's on, what's it on? Warner Classics, in association with the BBC Symphony Orchestra. Have they promoted this? Does anyone remember that it even exists? I doubt it. I strongly doubt it. And it's really good. But, it's one of many in multitudes. So I hang on to it, and someday I'll refer back to it. But I don't have time to listen to it like every day. That's not going to happen. So what else can we do? Okay. Shostakovich Cello Concerto No. 1 and the Cello Sonata with Hana Chang, who's a wonderful cellist also. He's good young artists, and they're all playing this music. And it's just a shame that they're all playing this music at a time when there are so many bazillions of recordings of it that they don't get the notice that probably they would have deserved had there been, fewer fish in the pond. So it's Antonio Pappano with the London Symphony. He's conducting and playing the piano in the Shostakovich Cello Sonata, which is really a big and powerful work that very few people know. It doesn't get the attention it deserves, but it's a very good work. Shostakovich, the Viola Sonata. Oh, that's really dark. Late. The Viola Sonata and the Cello Sonata arranged for viola. Why not? By Annette Bartholdi, viola. She's the arranger of the Cello Sonata, and Julius Drake, piano, here on Naxos, recorded in 2001. Unbelievable. Oh, now we have a big deal here, a particularly big deal. Shostakovich Fifth with the National Symphony and Rostropovich. He did this twice. He did it as part of his Teldec Complete Symphony cycle, but this was his first one. He made 2 recordings, you may recall, for Deutsche Grammophon with the National Symphony. One of them was this, and it's a very powerful performance, not quite as meticulously played as his remake, but it's still very good. The other recording was the Prokofiev Romeo and Juliet suites, which were quite eccentric in terms of tempo and whatnot. And Rostropovich wrote one of his typically defensive notes saying, I knew Prokofiev and this is what he wanted, so that's what I'm doing. And okay, right. And then we have the Cello Concerto No. 2. This was the premiere recording with Rostropovich, at least in the West anyway, with the Boston Symphony in Ozawa. And it's simply marvelous, as you might expect. Symphonies 1 and 9. No, was it 1 and 9? 5 and 9. 5 and 9. With the Russian National Orchestra under Yakov Kreutzberg on pentatone. Fine performances, very well recorded, enjoyable and idiomatic, and yes, worth saving. They belong in the Overflow room. They're just flowing there. Suite from the Gadfly and the Suite from 5 Days, 5 Nights. National Symphony Orchestra of Ukraine, Theodore Kuchar, who does everything well, just about, that I've ever heard, and this is no exception. The Gadfly, of course, has the romance that became the theme from Riley, Ace of Spies, that became incredibly famous a few decades back. Everybody was playing it. It was just crazy. So you have to have at least the gadfly incidental music. And what is this thing? Remastered recordings on Yedeng Classics. Oh, Shostakovich plays Shostakovich. Piano Concertos 1 and 2. These are earlier recordings. Let's see, what is this? Piano Concerto number 1 it's with Samuel Samosud conducting in the Moscow Philharmonic, recorded in 1956. Number 2 is with Alexander Gauck conducting, and it's 1959. Then the Concertino for 2 pianos with Dmitri and Maxim playing together, and the Piano Trio number 2. Oh, that's so intense. Oh my God. It's one of the greatest pieces of music ever in the history of the universe. You've got Shostakovich at the piano, David Oistrakh, and Milos Sadlo, cello from 1947, when it was brand new. This is like worth hanging on to, even though the sound is, it's remastered, like, right, 2 times 0 is still 0, right? You remaster it, it still sounds like garbage. But yeah, kind of cool. Shostakovich, by the way, was not a very good pianist. He was not a very good performer of his own music, even. But in these chamber contexts, he got the job done, and the concerti aren't bad. He remade them for EMI. We'll get to those with Andre Clétens. Remember him? Okay, Shostakovich 8, conducted by who's conducting? Rostropovich and the London Symphony Orchestra. Rostropovich always did a very fine Shostakovich 8th. His better one is, frankly, on Teldec with the National Symphony, but this isn't bad. It hadn't quite snoozed over entirely, but it's not great either. It really wasn't. These LSO remakes, generally speaking, weren't so hot. I don't think, if my memory serves. It may not. You may want to check the review at classicstoday.com. A lot of these things were reviewed at classicstoday.com. They got reviewed, then they got overflowed. Hypothetically Murdered. Hypothetically Murdered is the orchestral suite, the world premiere of the orchestral suite of this interesting score that Shostakovich did. It's on Signum Classics at the City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra and Mark Elder. It's quite fine. And 4 romances on poems by Pushkin for bass and chamber orchestra. And then there's like all kinds of other stuff on here. The 5 fragments, Opus 42, which are quite fragmentary. And the suite number 1 for jazz band, which is just a waltz, a polka, and a foxtrot. It's not terribly jazzy sounding. But Hypothetically Murdered is kind of interesting. Lots of little bitlets, incidental music, more of that. Peter Vispilve, Shostakovich, cello sonata. Prokofiev, cello sonata. Britten, cello sonata. This is a wonderful disc. Vispilve, of course, is a phenomenal cellist. Channel Classics makes glorious sounding recordings, which is one of these things. And there are 3 contemporary cello sonatas. It's a really cool coupling. A smart release, actually. Warner Classics. Warner Classics Best. Oh, this is a Japanese thing, because they're always called the best, the colossal, the whatever, Mahler 9 and Shostakovich 15 with the Philharmonia Orchestra and the Cleveland Orchestra. Neither very good. No, they're not. Sanderling I liked very much, but he could get really slow and not compensatorily slow. In other words, slow and intense or slow and atmospheric, just slow. And these performances are slow. Oh my goodness, they're slow. The Mahler is not. Well, the second movement is slow. The Rondo Burlesque is sort of clunky. The outer movements are okay. It's not his best. He did a really fine Mahler 9, let's not forget, on Berlin Classics. I think it was with the Berlin Symphony. The Staatskapelle Berlin, or one of those, East German organs. So, but these were on Erato, and I got them because, it's Sanderling and Shostakovich and Mahler, and how could you not, right? Well, Shostakovich, the year 1905, Symphony number 11 with the Orchestre Nationale de la Radiodiffusion Française, and Andre Clétens. Yeah, there he is. There he is on Testament. This is good. It's in stereo, and it's really a fine performance. It's exciting and raw and edgy, and it's kind of screechy sound. It's but lots of fun. Oodles of fun. And that, my friends, was easy, wasn't it? It's our first pile of Shostakovich. Keep on listening. And thanks for joining me. Take care.